welcome to the Good Girls Get Rich podcast. I'm your host, Karen Yankovich, and this is one of my favorite topics today. And I think you know exactly who I'm talking about. You've probably thought about her more than once, and maybe you've even gone as far as checking out her LinkedIn profile once or twice, and then you close the tab because you're like, what am I going to say? I don't know what to say, right? So, hi, remember me from 11 years ago? I need something. So you don't send it. And then nothing happens. Nothing happens. Here's what I want you to hear before I continue with this. She is not a stranger. She is not a cold lead. She is someone who already knows you're good at what you do. And that is the single most expensive thing to build. And you already have this. You already have this. So think about this. Think about how many LinkedIn connections you already have. And then think of how many of those LinkedIn connections have you actually spoken to in the last few years, right? This is about reconnecting. This is about reconnecting. Think about this. Think about people maybe you've met at a conference a couple of years ago and you connected and you check out their LinkedIn profile a couple of years later and you're like, wow, when I met her, she worked at, ABC company and now she works at XYZ company. I wonder what happened, right? So maybe, it could have been a project you worked on together a bunch of years ago. Maybe it was 5 years ago. Maybe it was even 10 years ago. Maybe you worked together decades ago, right? You were both sitting in pods next to each other at a certain thing, right? Maybe it was decades ago. And these are the things that might be stopping you. These are the opportunities to reconnect because you just don't know where these conversations can go. And this is where the gold is in your LinkedIn network. And I got to tell you something, I get a lot of pushback on this. Okay. In our programs and our She's Linked Up ecosystem of programs and our visibility salon and all the programs that we run and the private work that I do with people, when I say, let's look at your existing network, they go, oh, sorry, Karen, I already know there's nothing there. There's nobody in my network. It's all people I used to work with and then I force the issue. I go all Jersey on them and I'm like, let's look anyway. And then they're like, wow, I didn't realize this person didn't do this anymore. And you know what? I really would love to know what happened here. These are conversation starters and they happen fast. And they absolutely bring opportunities because remember, they're just as interested in what you're up to as you are in what they're up to, right? So reconnecting with people is how you dive into a LinkedIn network that you may have thought was dead, okay? But it's not dead, right? If you don't... let's think about this. If you look at your LinkedIn network and it's just hasn't been touched in forever, it just kind of is unmaintained and it's spoiled and it starts to dry up. Okay. But when you water it a little bit, like I talk about watering our money tree, right? That's where you start to build up those opportunities again. And these are people that know you're good. They knew you when they knew you, they had a reason to be connected to you in the past. That trust doesn't expire because years went by, right? It just goes quiet. So the awkwardness that maybe you're feeling about reaching out isn't a reason to not reach out. It's actually, all it's really saying is that you're the only one that's keeping score of how long it's been, of how long that silence has been, right? That person's not sitting there thinking, Karen never called me. She's living her life, right? The silence is only loud in your head. And chances are they're going to be happy when you reached out. They're going to be happy when you reached out. There was a study done a couple years ago, and it was done in Rutgers in New Jersey, which, is where my heart always is. And they had executive MBA students go consult on dormant contacts, former ties that they've lost touch with about a real work project. These conversations took less time than the ones with their current contacts, and the executives ranked them as useful or more useful than the current people that they were reaching out to. Reconnected, once strong ties delivered both things that you normally have to choose between, right? The novelty you get from a distant contact and the trust you get from close ones. She's been away, so she knows things you don't, but she still trusts you, right? And this study found that that people had at least 10 dormant contacts worth reconnecting with. Not one, 10. 10, right? So again, this was executive MBA students ranking their own conversations, not a study of women in career intervention. It wasn't like 10,000 people, but this is what happens when, like, it's kind of what happens when I force my clients to do this, right? It's real. It's real, and the opportunities are real. Okay, and I bet you've been around a couple decades. You probably have more than 10. You probably have more than 10. So let's just not worry about that right now, and let's think about the 10, right? I want you to literally go back to this episode if you're listening in your car or on your walk, because I want you to go through this step by step. I want you to go to LinkedIn. I want you to go to My Network. I want you to go to Connections, and then filter by past companies that you were at or the school that you went to. Filter it by, like, give it some filters so that you can eyeball this. And think about anyone that you would probably have grabbed lunch with in the past and put their name on a list, right? If you have Sales Navigator, created a LinkedIn list. If you don't, get out a notebook and just write it in your notebook, right? But get out or open a Google Doc and create a list of 10. Okay. And so no qualifying them. Don't say, yeah, but I don't know what she's up to now, or she's really senior now, or she probably doesn't remember me. She does. She's not too senior. It's all good. Okay. And who cares anyway, right? Who cares anyway? And then stop at 10. Stop at 10. This is a week's project, not like a doctorate thesis. This is a simple little project. I just want you to remember that this is not a list of people who you think can help you. This is just a list of people who you enjoyed and who maybe enjoyed you. Okay? That's it. That's it. And then the message. Okay? The message. No apologies. Don't say, I'm sorry I fell off the face of the earth, because it makes her defending you too, because she didn't reach out to you either, right? And now you both feel uncomfortable. So don't apologize. Name the specific thing. Oh my gosh, I was thinking about when we worked together at ABC company, or when we met at that conference, or whatever the truth is, right? Like, if there's something that you can pull in on, like, oh my gosh, I still dream about that BLT we had at that conference, or, oh, remember that client from hell, right? Or gosh, some of you guys are listening. If you remember the at New Jersey Conference for Women, when there was a fire alarm and the entire conference had to leave the conference and stand in the parking lot, like, specificity is the proof that you're real, right? Like, this is what you want to do. You want to call out on those things, and then say what made you think of her now, right? Like, if there's a true one, you saw she got a promotion, or her book came out, or maybe you were just scrolling LinkedIn and her name was in a thread somewhere, and what you were like, wow, you checked her out because you wanted to see what she was up to, or maybe you drove past the old office and you thought of her, right? And that's it. That's it. Just full stop. Hey, reaching out, was thinking about you. Hope you're well. Full stop. No ask. Don't say, let's have lunch, jump on a call. Let me know if you're open to. Full stop. Okay. Full stop. Don't say, since we last spoke, I've done this, this, and this, right? She didn't ask, and it sounds pitchy. Don't ask that. Don't immediately ask to reconnect, because then she's going to be like, well, what does she want? Right? Like, don't say, like, let's have coffee, right? Don't just say, hey, reconnecting, with nothing in it, because there's nothing for her to reply to. So you want to make sure you give her something to reply to, like, LOL, I remember that conference. Oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. Right? Like, and don't give her a reason don't give her anything that she has to apologize for. Okay. So just simple conversation, like you're starting a conversation, 3 or 4 sentences. If it's more than 4 sentences, that's not a reconnection, that's a presentation. Okay. And you do not want her to feel like you're presenting, because you're not. You are truly looking for opportunities to collaborate. And it might be that you're going to open up an opportunity for her. Okay. And then maybe in 6 months, she'll open up another one for you. So have no expectations. Okay. And I will say that you want to, if you can do this, look for people who are active on LinkedIn, because if you do 10 and these 10 people are not active, this just dies right then and there, right? Because if you reach out to people that are active on LinkedIn, the replies are going to come warm. They're going to come fast. Okay. And it's really about the conversation. And if there's an ask, it's going to live in message 2 or 3. You know what I mean? Like, you know what? Let's jump on a quick Zoom. I'd love to see your face. I'd love to catch up with you. Right. And some people won't reply. right? Some people just don't reply. It is what it is, whatever. Don't read anything into it. The goal here is to put calls on your calendar. That is the number, that is the metric that we are always looking at in our visibility salon and our She's Linked Up programs. What are the calls that are on your calendar? Okay. And sometimes like time will go by. And if you like, depending on what you use for follow-ups, depending on the value you think of these connections, maybe you'll move them to like an Asana follow-up or however you follow up, right? But if nobody responds, don't worry about it. But if people do respond, start a little chatty conversation. If the conversation dies, let it drop and then maybe pick it up again in a week or two, right? Again, it's about conversations. It's about conversations. I mean, if the worst thing that happens is somebody that you haven't spoken to in a decade continue to not speak to you, oh, well, you weren't talking to her anyway, right? You didn't lose anything. Now you just kind of know. So this is how simple this can be. This is how simple this could be. Because what we're looking for are the couple of success stories. Your network is not cold. It's sleeping. And there's a real difference between somebody who doesn't know you, who you're reaching out to, and somebody who hasn't heard from you. The people that haven't heard from you, this is the low hanging fruit and opportunities. And the opportunities aren't like, you're not asking them for their credit card. The opportunities, maybe they'll say, you know what? I just joined this networking group and you might be a great speaker for that. Right? Other people's audiences, maybe they can introduce you to that. Right? So be open to where these conversations go. That's the hard part, right? Not having a predisposition to where you want it to go. Just be open to it. Be building these conversations. And if you're doing this a couple times a week, I'm telling you, the opportunities are endless. So 10 names, one message, right? Not 10 messages, like one message. Pick the easiest name on the list and send out a message, maybe do another one, but to somebody that you think is genuinely going to be interested to hear from you because you genuinely want to know what they're up to. Send like a 3 or 4 sentence message to them, right? About your specific memory or why that person came to mind, and then close your laptop, right? Then close your laptop. Understand that this move is one piece of something bigger. Reconnecting is how you get known again. But the reason it matters is what it opens up: rooms that you don't have to build, audiences that you don't have to earn from scratch, opportunities that they can introduce you to. That's what I teach in my Borrow the Stage masterclass. It's completely free. It's about an hour. It's on demand. And it's the whole method, right? How to get seen on stages that already have your people on them so that you can go one to many. I am all about using LinkedIn to build simplicity into your networking and look for the biggest opportunities, the biggest money opportunities that are out there, and turn that into work that you get paid for. I want there to be more wealthy women in the world, and this is how we do it. Go on over to sheslinkedup.com/masterclass to check it out. Links all in the show notes. And then next week, we're going to talk a little bit about the first thing she's going to do after she answers your message. So check that out, and I will see you at the table.